Hi, let's talk about Super Goof. This is one of the many Fantagraphics volumes of Disney Masters. This one is highlighting Paul Murray. Paul Murray did a lot of Mickey Mouse comics, but he also did a lot of Super Goof. And Super Goof is one of these great creations that started in the comics first. Basically, it's Goofy with Superman powers. It started in 1964 or thereabouts, 65 or so, in the Silver Age, and I think it's 1965 because he had something like 3 origins in that 1 year, and then the third origin stuck. So we'll get into all of that. This is a brand new hardcover that came out. I got it this week. Here's the spine, nice and colorful, pretty cool stuff. Here's the back. Now, my memory of Super Goof is, I think the earliest memory I have of holding a comic in my hand that I owned, that, someone obviously bought for me because I was probably 3 or 4, was a Super Goof comic. Super Goof might be the first comic I had. From the dim, misty memories of, being 4 or 5 or so. And this talks about Paul Murray and Super Goof. So let's get into it. This is a really fun volume. I have a lot of these Disney Masters volumes. I don't have everything, but whenever they come out and I'm interested, I buy it. Super Goof and the Strange Case of Dr. Cyclops. Now, you get way more stories than that, but this is one of the stories. They always highlight a story for the title. And here are all the different stories. They don't tell you what comic they came from or what year. That would have been nice too. Some other collections do that, but Fantagraphics doesn't really do that for their Disney Masters. So sometimes you're guessing, well, what year is all this? And here is a write-up about Super Goof. So the first origin was that he thought he had powers, and it was one of those fake-out things where he dons a super costume and thinks that he's Superman or something. The next one was he does get powers from a cape that Gyro Gyrolos creates for him. Gyro Gyrolos, of course, is another character created in the comics first, then moved to animation with DuckTales. And then the third and final origin was that Goofy has a patch of peanuts in his backyard that are magic or something. When he pops a peanut into his mouth, then he gets superpowers, and it actually turns him into this costume. It's really with an SG, you'll see later. But it wears out, so that causes all sorts of comedic hijinks. Here's the story that features the cape that gives him powers. And he's always in these pajamas and everything. Pretty cool stuff. So all of this art is Paul Murray, and written by various artists. Here he stops a train before the track is destroyed here. But they're like, well, he caused more damage stopping the train than would have caused if we went into the river here. So there you go. Here's his peanut patch. This is the first appearance of that. And all of this is from the mid-1960s. So then he gets these powers and he's Super Goof. And they're not showing the insignia as much here. Here's Clarabelle Cow, Minnie, Daisy. I think this guy's from Three Caballeros. This Mickey Mouse looking very domestic. Super Goof was a comic that ran, I think, 75 issues. But on and off from the 60s to the mid-1980s. Super Goof also appeared in other comics like Mickey Mouse, etc. And it's one of those things that I think in recent years they've finally put Super Goof in animation. Here he is fighting Pete. Super Goof had his own rogues gallery, but here he is fighting various villains that turned up in other Disney comics at the time. So he's going to fight the Beagle Boys in this story. And yeah, it's one of these things. Disney has a rich, wonderful, interesting comic book legacy, and they rarely dive into it. When they did with DuckTales, that was a huge success, and I don't know why they didn't continue it with other stuff. DuckTales, of course, featured Scrooge McDuck, the Beagle Boys, Gyro Gearloose, Glomgold, who else? All of which originated in comic books first. And the whole adventuring aspect of Uncle Scrooge was a comic book thing as well. This is The Strange Case of Dr. Cyclops. And wait till you see the origin of Cyclops. Here he is. And he's a time-based villain. He does things right on time, kind of like a Clock King. But this origin is great, actually. So he's trying to like defeat this villain who's robbing banks and stuff and leaving notes. And it turns out Cyclops can only communicate through these written notes, like he's mute or something. And he kidnaps Mickey Mouse, kicks him out of a plane. Super Goof saves Mickey, and Super Goof is trying to find who Cyclops is. I should say, in Disney Comics, especially around this time, the Disney universe was represented, so they had carte blanche to do any Disney character. So here, Geppetto is in this universe, and Geppetto's an inventor and everything. And here's Cyclops giving him ultimatums and stuff. And he's kidnapped Mickey Mouse again, and going to imprison him in this clock. And Super Goof comes in and rescues Mickey and all that. But he's a goof, he's a bumbling goof, right? And so he comes back as regular Goofy. And then they discover that Cyclops is a clock machine man that Geppetto made to be a companion of his because Pinocchio is away. And he put in a bad spring or something, and it made the clock evil. And that's Dr. Cyclops. It's pretty awesome. So Geppetto made Dr. It's like Hank Pym and Ultron. It's like, and it's around this time. No, I mean this would be like the mid to late 1960s. It's the same kind of thing with Ultron. Here's a one-page comic of Super Goof painting numbers on these buildings to play hopscotch. Using various powers here. It's like he can deflect bullets and lift a truck, but then when his shoelace is knotted up, he asks Clarabelle Cow for help. Yeah, these are great. I mean, as I say, they should do a lot more with this. I think Super Goof appeared in House of Mouse briefly, and one of the episodes of the preschool show, what's it called, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. Not often. They don't really do a lot with this character. They don't really do a lot with a lot of their comic book stuff. Mickey Mouse has gone on epic adventures and treasure hunts and all sorts of things and like solving crimes. And he has a whole rogues gallery from Phantom Blot to Dr. X, Dr. Double X, and Dr. Triple X. Remember those guys? Maybe not, but look them up. You know, they're these gorillas in doctor outfits and stuff. They're awesome. Mickey Mouse has a whole rogues gallery and has a whole, bunch of adventures that they don't really show in cartoons. He's just this boring Mickey Mouse guy. Here's Gilbert, who is the nephew of Goofy, and he pops a peanut and into his mouth, and then he becomes Super Gilbert, and it's the same insignia because it's SG, right? It's funny because he's Super Gilbert. Wouldn't everyone know that he's Gilbert, right? So here's this area's super destroyed. So there's some sort of shaking devices. This leading to earthquakes everywhere. Here's a wonderful paneling in like the 60s sometime. It's awesome, but it looks way ahead of its time. This is all still Paul Murray. So, there you go. This is a great hardcover collection of all these great stories. A forgotten character, I feel. Here, Goofy is guest appearing in a Mickey Mouse story, fighting the Phantom Blot, which was a classic Mickey villain that you never really see in animation that much. And then he becomes Super Goof and defeats the Phantom Blot. Pretty cool stuff. So, here's a write-up about Paul Murray and his career. Here are some covers of the time. So yeah, this is a wonderful collection. I think this is like 40 bucks American. But I got it here for a little bit more in Canada. Super Goof and the Strange Case of Dr. Cyclops. I hope you like going through this with me. This is available in bookstores now, and of course online. If you like what you saw, please give a like to this video. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Lots of great comic book stuff on here. So until next time, take care.